AI Black Belt Specialist from Google Cloud. Can everyone hear me in the back? Good? Okay. So I'm going to give you some Google I/O updates. Did anyone had a chance to look at, even a shorter version of Google I/O updates from YouTube? Awesome. The full Google I/O is a couple of hours. Not everything is super excited. I'm from Google Cloud. Given the fact that I'm from Google Cloud, a lot of the updates will be related to Google Cloud. So what is Google I/O? It is our annual developer conference and focusing on more of a general developer ecosystem. It's more than just Google Cloud. We have pixels and devices and developer environment and also some open source frameworks around AI and ML. I'd like to play this video before I jump into the detail. It's quite interesting. I believe some of you guys must have seen this before. This is quite trendy memes from LinkedIn or Twitter. Okay, this one doesn't work. Not a very good start. So if you go to Twitter or something, you're probably gonna see Sundar speaking AI a million times over the I/O. We made a joke internally that every time when Sundar speak about AI and Gen AI, our stock price gonna bump up a bit. So AI and generative AI is the key topic of I/O, of course, just because all the hypes around the market, and I've been spending the past 10 years in AI. So this is a really exciting time for me. I'm not Sundar, and I'm not going to be Sundar, but I will just add my color into the 5 categories I think that is really important in the I/O, starting with the Google Cloud part. So this is more of a general announcement in I/O. As you can see, Google Cloud and generative AI is sitting in the middle, and a lot of the functionality around generative AI will be available for public preview on Google Cloud. If you haven't tried Google Cloud, I highly recommend to use the 300 free credits you can get on signing up a new account and try PaLM 2, which is one of the most powerful language model on the market, and try to do prompt tuning and see what we offer. On the developer side, we made a lot of announcements again around AI and Gen AI, including the public access of Bard. Does anyone have tried Bard before? How is the experience comparing to our competitors? Anyone want to give an opinion? Not good. I tried to search for a flight back to China just to visit my parents at the end of the year. It's okay-ish because if you ask ChatGPT, it couldn't connect to the internet. Bard can, but the quality of the information I would just say has room to improve. So on the collaborative cloud side, I don't know if you are aware, Google also offer Workspace, which is a bundled offer of Gmail, chat, Sheets, Google Doc, all web-based, and all the Gen AI and large language model functionality are all integrated with the Workspace. Okay, so generative AI. This is just a recap of what I have just mentioned. Google Workspace, of course, Google Cloud, cybersecurity, which is so important for all the enterprise customer. Also, if you are a consumer, you also want to have your PII data protected. Google Cloud Platform, platform-wise, even if you are interested in app builder, you are app builder, or you are interested in knowing more about infrastructure, there's a whole lot of updates on that side. So, Data Cloud. On Google Cloud, can I have a show of hand? How many of you have any experience in using Google Cloud? Not many. And generally, how is cloud? Have you used any other cloud vendor products, mainly around AWS or AWS? Okay. So before Google, I worked for Microsoft. I have been playing around with AWS, when I was at Union a while ago. From my perspective, each platform would have its own benefit, of course. For more of a traditional developer, where you want to build everything from the scratch, AWS give you more flexibility because you have full control. Whereas, Microsoft and Google Cloud, they're more focusing on giving you the end-to-end experience. So that's why I want to put end-to-end platform for enterprise to build Gen AI app. I'm not talking to enterprise now, but I just want to focus on the experiment that you will be getting on using some of the services on Google Cloud. It's not so much about the capability or what type of the model we are offering, but also about how quickly you can build a prototype to test your hypothesis. Again, if you're thinking of the overall experiment, build a solution is much more than just using one particular model, but how you are integrating everything with other applications, your database, and how quickly you can build the UI. So inside of Google Cloud, we have a ML platform called Vertex AI. You can access all the foundational models, aka all the large language model from Vertex AI, and on Gen AI App Builder, that's where you can quickly prototype and using more of a canvas experience to build an application. The latest large language model release, anyone has been tracking all the different updates on the market about large language model? Did anyone know what is the largest language model on the market right now? No? Okay. It is hard to say because my feeling is most recently when the tech giants are releasing large language model, they don't really tell you how big is this model, and everything was not so open anymore. A while ago, the tech giants are happy to share more information about the type of research they're doing on building this large language model. However, my feeling is most recently, there's not much information that has been given to the public about how they're building the large language model. So on Google side, we of course released PaLM 2, which is the foundation model that's supercharged everything on Google, including the functionality I've just mentioned on a workspace and also on search. We're going to bring in a new experience on Google search as well, all powered by PaLM 2. So PaLM 2 really has the capability of understanding more languages, and on certain parts, this is again a benchmark from the academia. Does it has a real impact on how you are building your application? Really depends on your use cases, but on certain area, especially on reasoning and logic, the PaLM 2 is the best model so far. Okay. On Google Cloud, we also offer different sizing. the reason why we're thinking of giving the user different size for accessing the same model is more around, again, developer experiments. If you think of, now everyone can access the large language model via consumer chatbot like Bard. But when you are building your application, it is not really, feasible if you want to host a large language model just because of the infrastructure cost, right? And let's say if you want to build something on the edge, it is not very cost effective again to just call the API every single time. I don't know if you have done any pricing or pricing model for your application. Even though per request it's not that much, but if you add up, if you calculate it by millions of users accessing your application and clicking on particular button to trigger an API call, that might add up to a significant cost. So that's why we offer different size. On the smallest model we are offering called Gecko, and it will be available very soon for developers to deploy the same capability around large language model on edge device in a container fashion. So that's really the reason why we're thinking of offering different sizing on the same language model. Okay. So pump to fine-tuning on domain-specific knowledge. Another critical part of thinking, bringing the developer experiment. Anyone know what is fine-tuning? Okay, good. I'll just do a quick explanation. So large language model in general can do a lot of things. However, if you want to really, train it on specific domain, or especially around the highly specialized one, medical data or scientific paper, then you probably want to fine-tune your model by giving it some example. So we offer PaLM that specifically trained on those domains, that including MedPalm and SecPalm. Again, just to tailor it more to the use of scientific research and healthcare. Google DeepMind. We haven't figured out a name for the new team, but so if you look at Google, mainly we have two research groups. One is Google DeepMind, the other one is Google Brain, and now Google is making effort in bringing these two groups together, so all the research can, more tailored to the same approach. And if you're looking at, really releasing all the research and integrate it into our production and offer the same capability to the general public, it is really important that we join force together. One thing I do want to mention is soon there will be a new model that's going to release called Gemini. It is the next generation foundation model, focusing more on the multi-mode model, meaning that not only understanding natural language, but also can understand voice, images, and videos. There is a recent update. I saw it, I saw a lot of people posting it on LinkedIn, but the model, part of this Gemini model has been implemented in YouTube Shorts just to do more of like inferencing and understanding of the content. Okay. Responsible AI. People are thinking Google are late for this whole AI game, but from Google's perspective, we're not a startup company, right? We're one of the company who has been recognizing as the AI leader for years. And when Google is thinking of releasing any AI-related product to the market, there's always a lens of are we responsibly giving this power to everyone? Are we giving you the factual-based information, or really thinking of the use of the AI, or let's say API, when you are building a new application? So at Google, I don't know if you are aware, if you are a developer, it doesn't matter if you are a startup or individuals or academia or even enterprise. If you want to build AI application with Google, internally we do have a committee to review every single use cases that we want to build related to AI. So that's one way of making sure that when people are building AI application with Google using some of our models, there is a lens of control and a lens of review in there, making sure no one will be abused the power of AI. So this is interesting. A while ago, there's a research paper about AlphaFold. Did anyone know AlphaFold? I've heard of AlphaFold. Okay, good. So we are actually working with some of the leading, medical research and health company on implementing AlphaFold on a lot of research. Unfortunately, I cannot, share more details, but AlphaFold is actually helping a lot of medical company, healthcare and government on tackling some of the biggest issues they're facing. Okay, so how we are thinking of encouraging everyone to build with Google, especially around using some of our AI capability, is more of, inviting you to build with us instead of giving you the full solution. So we have a lots of customer who is experimenting and build their application with us in a fashion of co-building. And the key point again is this is the phase that no one really has a mature application, just because how early we are in this curve. If you're talking about, you have a very mature generative AI application or large language model use cases, I doubt it, just because, we're still at a stage of figuring out what would be the best result and what type of business or social impact that we would have on building this application. So from the partner ecosystem lens, we do partner with a lot of startup companies, and again with the idea that this is more of a collaborative place. Google, even though Google has the best intention of building the best language model, we also partner with a lot of startups and academia just to make sure that we are more inclusive in bringing all this capability in one platform. Again, around Google Cloud, security is a big issue. So first of all, we released a new deep learning infrastructure and VM on integrating NVIDIA newest GPU. If people are interested in training their own large language model from the scratch, this is probably one of the best VM you can get on the market in training your own model. Of course, Google also offers something special called TPU that is unique. When we're doing some benchmarking, it is actually 25% more efficient in training the large language model. However, TPU is not accessible for everyone. That's why we collaborate with NVIDIA and making a new VM for researchers or developers to train their model. And the next one I want to mention is on the Google Cloud Run integration with Firespace. Anyone use Firespace? Okay, good. It is actually quite powerful. I don't know, why Google is not putting a lot of, effort in promoting Firebase. If you are an app developer, I highly recommend you to try Firebase. It is really fast and lightweight, and Google Cloud Run is also serverless function that's gonna give you a very seamless experience in integrating some of the back-end application code and serving that to your front-end application. Google Workstations. Anyone know what is Google Workstations? Not many. So actually Google Workstation give you the capability of having an on-cloud IDE. If you are developing using, let's say, VS Code, you can have the same experience, but on Google Cloud using Google Workstation. Right. Okay. And also, I want to mention, anyone has used Copilot on their development? Okay, so you can have this similar experience on Google Workstation. But we offer something different than Copilot. We call it Cody. If you end up experimenting your development using Google Cloud Station, you would have a plugin, and we offer, Dude AI is another name, but it's more of like the same concept of Copilot. You would have a coding assistant on your Cloud IDE to help you to check your code and helping you to auto-complete some of your code. Security AI Workbench. Again, security might not be a big topic for consumer, but for enterprise, when they're thinking of building application, it is quite important. Okay, here's developers. Dude AI for Google Cloud. As I mentioned, it is part of the integration with Google Workstation. If you are using it, this looks quite similar to VS Code, right? Again, it's the same experience. It's just giving you an option to have it on cloud. And Dude AI is the name for the code assistant. Soon, it would have more capability than just assisting you to write code, but more of, from the infrastructure side of development cycle, thinking of helping you to write Terraform to deploy your entire application or infrastructure. And also, it would be able to help you to write SQL code if you're using Google BigQuery, but those will come later. Google Map and platform updates. So anyone has been building application using Google Google Map API? Yeah. Soon there will be a whole bunch of new API release more around 3D and immersive experiments. So yeah, stay tuned on that one. I'll just skip this one. This is an interesting one. I'm not an expert in Flutter, and do we have some expert in here who? Okay, cool. So Flutter is actually, I feel like it is truly powerful. If you go to the Google I/O website, you will be seeing a lot of labs around how you are building an intelligent application using Flutter's, plus the language model, the lightweight language model I just mentioned, so Ghetto. That lab is really interesting. It's showing you ways of building lightweight application across all different devices and also consuming the best AI model in a light fashion. You know, if you're talking about inferencing time and you are deploying your application on the edge, on mobile, you don't want to have a large latency. So this is really giving you an option to solve that problem. And of course, cost-wise, it is much, much, much cheaper comparing to forwarding everything into a giant model API call. Android development. Do we have any Android developers in here? Okay, good. So on the Android development, we would have a new, Android Studio logo, and the Studio bot is interesting. I don't know if you have access to the Studio bot yet. No, no one. So it is the same concept, right? I don't know if people are aware that Google has a full-fledged solution around building a chatbot and building, let's say, call center related solution. And Dialogflow, has anyone used Dialogflow before? No. It is actually really powerful, even before large language model. It's more around intelligently managing the conversation between a chatbot and an end user. So we are bringing this experiment to Android developers because before it is more designed for the enterprise user, and we offer as part of the Google Cloud services. TensorFlow and Keras, any users? Yeah. So I don't know if you have a chance to check the newest update on the TensorFlow document site or website, Keras. There is a lot of update on focusing more on the large language model. So if you go to the latest updates, I think they make the API so much easier if you want to consume certain large language model. And if you're thinking of pre-processing and post-processing some of the data that you want to use in training the model, fine-tuning, or even change the format so it can fit into your downstream application requirement, then there's lots of, again, updates just to make it so easy for people to call specific model. And part of this release also had some impact on Kaggle. Do we have a Kaggle players? Okay. So if you go to, are you aware like Kaggle is part of Google? Oh, okay. So Kaggle is actually also part of Google, right? That's why if you are Kaggle, you're a Kaggler, you will be seeing a lot of competition that is actually sponsored by Google. But Kaggle is part of Google. If you go to the Kaggle, website, you will be seeing, especially on the model, on the type of model that is available on Kaggle, there is a whole bunch of release to offer developer to access the research model that Google used to have. So it's the same concept as Hugging Face. Do we have Hugging Face users in here? Yeah. So Hugging Face is one of the most popular open source large language model, I would say community on the market. A lot of the best language model is on Hugging Face. The same concept will be applying on Kaggle as well, more around giving developer the ability to access Google language model without using Google Cloud. So yeah, this is more around developer side. This is an interesting one. Did anyone play with this flip? What do you think of it? Is it good? Thumb up. So I hope this link still live for you to experiment. The whole concept of this game is to really showing you in real time how powerful it is, as I mentioned, to really using generative AI as the engine to help you to build a solution that can scale to millions or even billions of users. So this card game, it is more of like a matching game. The power of this game is we give everyone the opportunity to generate their own card and description of of that particular card by using generative AI. So every time when you log in and you choose which card you want to generate, the image and description of that card is generated not by the application, but by calling the Palm2 API. So again, this is lightweight. Just going back to the previous one. This is built by using Firebase and Flutter and integrating it with Gen AI. Again, I highly recommend you to go to the Google I/O website and try the lab around how to build a lightweight application using Gen AI. You'll get the whole concept. Okay, finally we get to Bard. So the reason why, that's my interpretation of why we call this consumer chatbot Bard, is because in the future, I'm hoping everyone will say, I Bard it. It's like, I Google it. So Bard is powered by Palm2, the full-size Palm2. Which is really powerful. Now everyone can have access to Bard, and most recently, Bard is integrated with Google Search and has the capability to give you answer plus links and images in the answer, which is really powerful. And it is a combination of ChatGPT plus the Bing integration. And very soon, you will have the capability to ask Bard using not only natural language, but also images and audios and videos. Search, that's probably the sweet spot of Google. And if you go and watch the I/O, there is an awesome, showcase of the next generation of search experience, more around how Google is thinking, integrating this into the search by giving you a summarization of what you're trying to search and giving you more of a better experience in finding the information you need, which is factual based. If you are if you're trying to find a particular product, let's say a bike, there will be auto-generated recommendation or product comparison offered by the new search experience. The same case with if you want to search for flight. I would say it is kind of different from what Bing has done with ChatGPT. It is not only the chat experience, but really thinking of embedding this Gen AI capability to the normal search experience and offer you a more immersive way in finding the information you need. Android. Anyone? Are you guys Apple user or Android user? I still use Apple phone, but I'm looking forward to Pixel 7 Plus just because some of the application I saw on the I/O is really promising, especially around Magic Compose and cinematic wallpaper. If you are an Android user and you use Pixel, you're probably gonna see the quality differences between the cameras and how you are able to edit the camera. on Android side, they are working very closely with the research team to really implementing some of the advanced image generation type of model into the device. Those application is not even available on the Google Cloud side, but on Android, I guess they had a better, integration and collaboration. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I haven't had a chance to wear any of the Android watch, but we are giving you a lot of updates. It's like small things comparing to what Apple just done on the Apple Watch, but yeah, we have a watch. Just to make sure people know that we, when you talk about Google, it's not just Google Math, Google Search. We do have devices, including Pixel. Again, it is really promising just because all the latest integration around the app side, leveraging AI. And it is only, $1,799 US, which is, given the fact that Apple just released a device which cost you, I don't know, like $6,000. So yeah, it is minimum, guys. Yeah, so this is a video I really want to play, just in case you haven't seen the I/O. And this is the new experience, user immersive experience we want to bring in on Google Maps. I'll just try to see if I can play it.
Since the early days of Street View, AI has stitched together billions of panoramic images so people can explore the world from their device. At last year's I/O, we introduced Immersive View, which uses AI to create a high-fidelity representation of a place so you can experience it before you visit. Now we are expanding that same technology to do what Maps does best: help you get where you want to go. Google Maps provides 20 billion kilometers of directions every day. That's a lot of trips. Imagine if you could see your whole trip in advance. With Immersive View for routes, now you can, whether you're walking, cycling, or driving. Let me show you what I mean. Say I'm in New York City and I want to go on a bike ride. Maps has given me a couple of options close to where I am. I like the one on the waterfront, so let's go with that. Looks scenic. And I want to get a feel for it first. Click on Immersive View for routes, and it's an entirely new way to look at my journey. I can zoom in to get an incredible bird's eye view of the ride. And as we turn, we get onto a It looks like it's going to be a beautiful drive. You can also check today's air quality. Looks like AQI is 43, pretty good. And if I want to check traffic and weather and see how they might change over the next few hours, I can do that. Looks like it's going to pour later, so maybe I want to get going now. Immersive View for routes will begin to roll out over the summer and launch in 15 cities by the end of the year, including London, New York, Tokyo, and San Francisco.
Of course, Australia doesn't exist. That's one of the challenges we're facing as well. Just because, when you're thinking of releasing any new product to the market, you look at the size, right? And Australia is in the middle of nowhere. So we wait patiently, but it's coming, I promise. So Google Play and Google Home and Google Photo, also part of the device. I do enjoy talking to Google, home device. If you are thinking of having a smart home, or if you're thinking of having more of this intelligent application sitting at your home, you want to have a way to interact with them more seamlessly, I do recommend you try Google Home. And also, I'm using Google Photos. It is a really good experiment. If you have both at your home, yeah, it's just easier for them to communicate because they're all coming from the same company. So this is an interesting one. Google Labs. If you are interested in experimenting on the new Google search, the new Google map, and having a try of the new language model, I do recommend you to sign up for Google Lab. It is a way to share all these pre-released features to the developer community. And if you sign up with Google Lab and you're getting access, Google will be providing you the infrastructure that you need to run all these experiments in a safe manner. So I do like it because I have getting access to the search lab, and the initial result is really good. And also for, I want to call out Project Tailwind, which unfortunately I cannot play the video. So the Project Tailwind is an interesting one, thinking of bringing the intelligent, Gen AI model into a single PDF. Let's say you would have a BARD on some of your document or even on one particular book, and you can chat with the assistant to know more about the book rather than you have to read the whole thing. And people are still prefer reading, I reckon, nowadays. But you get the idea. So you have the super intelligent agent that can sit in your offline PDFs or any offline document, or even helping you to write some of the essay. Yeah. Project Game Phase. Again, this is more of experiment, and I reckon you can get this as part of the Google AI lab. So it is. I don't know if you know the media pipe. So it is yet another really powerful model that released from Google, more around video and images. Actually, a lot of the really advanced image and video related model are integrated with YouTube. You are using it, but you just maybe not aware that those things has already integrated with a lot of services. Collaborative cloud, workspace, Duet AI again. So it is the name of Duet AI, but it has very distinct capability if you are a Google Cloud user versus if you are a workspace user. Did anyone has this new feature of help me to write in your Gmail account? If you sign up to the preview, then you will have this functionality as part of your Gmail. So I think I have the GIF in here. That's the experiment. So in the future, if you are a user of Workspace, you will be having the capability of help me to write inside of your Google Doc. Again, it is leveraging the same power as I mentioned before, Palm 2, integrated into every single consumer product in Workspace. The second one is, of course, Google Slides. I really like Google Slides, even though I've been using PowerPoint for a very, very long time. In here, you have the capability of generating new content, including images, based on the description. And as you can see, it is bringing a lot of the creativity and experiment into Google Slides and Google Meets. This is an interesting one. If you are a Google Sheets user or even Excel user, when you are thinking of creating a table or putting unstructured data in a structured format, I assume you will be struggling a bit. So here is another way of creating a table just based on a description. Or there is another functionality that you can bring in the more of like an unstructured format from Google Doc, directly import it into Google Sheets. And most recently, I think about a week ago, there is a new plugin that will be available in Google Code Lab. And anyone know Google Code Lab? Good. So, very soon, you will be able to, inside of your Google Sheets, export that table directly into Google Code Lab. So again, a very easy way for you to just load the Google Sheets data into a data frame, right? I don't know if you think that's really powerful, but you know it's a good way to do some quick experiments on the data set. The last one I want to share here is on the project start line. Let's see if we can play this video.
My name is Iram. I'm an engineer at Google, and I've been working on Project Starline for a little over a year. Project Starline's mission is to bring people together and make them feel present with each other, even if physically they're miles apart. Our earlier prototype relied on several cameras and sensors to produce a live 3D image of the remote person. In our new prototype, we have developed a breakthrough AI technique that learns to create a person's 3D likeness and image using only a few standard cameras.
I'm Melanie Lowe, and I'm the Global Workplace Design Lead here at Salesforce. You know, you were so used to seeing a two-dimensional little, box, and then we're connecting like this. And that feeling of being in front of a person is now replicated in Starline.
I'm more than happy to be a part of the setup, so. I was kind of curious about the collaboration. I was like, is this possible? You felt like someone was right there.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, of course.
The first meeting I had on Starline, I said, wow, you've got blue eyes. And this is a person I'd been meeting with for a year. Just to see a person in 3D, it was really astounding.
His smile was the same smile exactly how when I first met him.
Oh, Elaine is in Atlanta, but actually it feels like she's sitting in front of me.
Starline is really about the person you're talking to. All the technology sort of falls by the wayside.
Is this amazing that you don't need to have a 3D glass to see people in 3D? So this is the newest update from Google. In hoping that if anyone is using Google Meet, is that a good experiment? So that would be part of the Google Meets. And the vision of really seeing people in 3D is monumental, because that's the interaction that you can have with a real person. Given the fact that we work remotely for half of the time. So this is quite significant. There's a lot of AI-related updates. I don't know, like what you are thinking of this new Google I/O. Anyone want to share the feeling you're getting in here? Good, bad, thumb up. Okay. So I'm really excited about all these updates, just because how fast Google is moving on bringing a lot of, more of a research type of project into all our products. And I never see this type of speed of innovation at Google for a while. And it's really showing the promise and effort that Google is putting in pushing the boundary of AI. If you are a developer, I highly recommend you, again, sign up with all the preview from Google side and really experimenting and building the future with us. Okay, I'm welcome to do more of answering questions from the audience if you have any, because that's the last slide of my presentation. Any questions?
G'day. I'd like to start by saying I think that was amazing. Thank you for coming and presenting that. That's really exciting to me as a student. And I was wondering what you think, out of these products that you've talked about today, which one is going to have the most impact on your work personally?
On my work personally, workspace. So we're talking about Googlers has the bubble, just because we're using all the products from Google, including workspace. Again, I have been, a PowerPoint and Excel user or Word user for a long, long, long time. And it is surprisingly easy for me to adopt workspace, just because the integration between different products, including Meets, including, the seamless transformation of knowledge between, let's say, Google Doc and Google Slides. The ease of taking some content from one product to the other, and I'm experimenting on the Duet AI, and it's really promising. It just helped me to make my life so much easier in writing new emails, in writing you summarization or project proposal. That's so much easier. And the vision is Duet AI on Google Cloud side and Google Workspace side will merge in the future. Imagine that you have the capability to pick up the product, update requirement from your product manager and taking that directly into Google Cloud so you can start build. So that's the vision. And if that would happen in a short time, I guess that would really make my life much easier.
Hi, I'm just curious on the use cases between the different models, the Gecko, Bison, Unicorn. When would you be wanting to use Unicorn over Bison?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how great is the price difference for using
from
that?
a different model? Yeah. So if you are a Google Cloud user and you have Vertex AI, you're probably going to see all the model that is currently offered by Vertex AI is Bison. Just because, again, with the latency and infrastructure cost, Unicorn is the full-fledged model. I lose count of the parameters. It's around 800 billion or something. If you are a researcher and you want to train something from the scratch, and you have the capability of handling that big model, of course, you go for the biggest one. And for consumer, if you are just doing like prompt tuning or designing the application, Bison is the one. If you are a developer in really thinking of integrating that to your application and scale up again to millions and billions of users, choose the smallest one, so Gecko, because it's lightweight, it's cheaper. And thinking of hosting that on your edge, like a distilled or compressed version of the model on your device without calling the API, that's significant if you really do the math of calculating the cost. So yeah, the biggest. It's the same training set, but in I don't know how much time I have, but in natural language processing, there is a way of distilling and compressing the model in a smaller size. So it would capture, if you fine-tune this model, it would capture all the new knowledge that it learned from the new data set into a much smaller version. However, you would lose some of more general intelligence comparing to the bigger model, right? It's a trade-off. But I do think you don't necessarily need to have all this general capability if you are building a very specific application. You're focusing on doing one thing really well rather than doing 100 things, in a mediocre fashion.